Newsflash, Adam is making a cake on his channel. Christ. Can't remember the last time I did a sweet on this channel. It's got to be like flipping, what, 8 years ago, something like that. I don't generally do sweet stuff on this channel, but, you know, I do have moments where I fancy like a little sweet treat, a little something. So today I'm going to make a lemon drizzle cake. It's a super simple cake to make. It's nice and moist, it's fresh, it's lemony, nice and sweet. It's just perfect with a cup of tea. When you can't be bothered to make like a heavy dessert, this is a nice, easy thing to make. And it's delicious. And you have to excuse this flipping red gunk on the end of my nose that's appeared. Right, come on, let's crack on. Let's make a cake. Right, first things first, we've got a loaf tin here. If you haven't got one of these, they're pretty inexpensive. Like, this is like £3. Okay, they're really cheap to pick up. And I've got some baking parchment. All the ingredients and equipment will be listed in the description below, so don't worry. So first thing we're going to do is get some butter, like so, unsalted. I'm just going to take a small amount of this, just like a little knob, and then just sort of grease the sides and the bottom of this loaf tin. Right, next thing, I want to take a piece of baking paper and just kind of cut yourself a piece like that. And you want it to be the width of the bottom of your tin. Okay, so it's going to sit in there and it's going to help us lift the cake out at the end. I'm just going to trim the edges up a little bit. Then we're going to pop that in there like that and just kind of press it down. So that's that done. And then you want to get your oven on to 160 degrees Celsius, which is on the fan assisted. Non-fan assisted, you're looking at about 180. I will put all the conversions up on the screen. Now we're ready to make some cake. So I need some scales. Still haven't fixed that flipping door. And of course we need a mixing bowl. And I need a little bowl just to kind of weigh out my ingredients as well. Alright, first things first, let's get our weighing scales on. The first thing we need to add is our caster sugar. And it's a very simple measurement, it's 230, 230, 230. I'm going to add that to our mixing bowl. In it goes. Okay, and then we want the same amount of unsalted butter. The reason we use unsalted is because if you use salted, you can't really control the level of salt in your food, can you? Whereas with this, you know, you can. And we want exactly the same amount. Then you want to add the butter to your sugar. And then grate in the zest only of 2 lemons. Now, obviously, if you've got a stand mixer, this is just going to make your life a heck of a lot easier, isn't it? But, you know, I'm doing this the old-fashioned way because I've got no choice. So just grate in the zest and obviously keep the lemons because we're going to use the juice for that later on. Then add just a little pinch of salt. Now, obviously, if you've got an electric whisk, stand mixer, you can obviously do that with your machine. I haven't got that luxury, so I'm having to get a spoon in there and mix it all together. So you want to cream this butter and sugar together until it forms like a paste. When you got your buttercream like that, it's nice and smooth. It really helps if the butter is at room temperature. If it's fridge cold, you're going to have a hell of a time. Then we need some eggs. So I've got 3 large eggs, which I'm going to pop in. Okay, whack them in. And then beat those eggs into the buttercream. You're probably going to have to switch to a whisk at this point, because it's going to go quite runny. Yes, I do, Adam. Okay, just whisk the eggs in until it's all nicely combined. Until, look, you have something like that. Nice paste. And the next thing we're going to weigh out is our self-raising flour. Same amount again, 230 grams. And I've switched back over to a spoon because what we're going to do is sift this flour in and fold it in gently. So I'm going to go with about half to start with. Just gently fold it through, but sift that flour in. Just sort of means you don't get lumps. Okay, and then in with the last half of the flour. And then simply pour your cake batter into your tin. I've picked a really odd, complicated angle to film this. Oh God, you get the idea. And once your cake batter's in there nicely, just smooth it out and then just sling it in the oven. There we go. And that's going to take around about an hour. Okay, some recipes say like 45 minutes, but in my experience, it needs an hour. But that is going to be dependent on your oven. You'll know when it's ready because you'll take it out of the oven. You'll be able to put a skewer or cocktail stick in the center. When you pull it out, it should come out clean. There shouldn't be any bits stuck to it or anything like that. When you press it, it should have like a bit of a bounce, a bit of resistance to it, a bit of springiness. Right, so the cake's about 10 minutes away now. So what we're going to do is make our lemon drizzle, which couldn't be simpler. So I've got more caster sugar here. We want 50 grams of caster sugar. Now remember the 2 lemons that we used earlier for the zest? Now we want the juice. So what I'm going to do is just roll them up. This just helps release more of the juice. And then just kind of cut it. Like so, you don't need to be too fussy with it. And then the best thing to do is just squeeze everything into a jug. Don't worry about the pips, any of the flesh or anything like that. Just squeeze it all into the jug. Because then what you can do is just pour the lemon juice through a sieve, and it's going to collect all the gubbins you don't want. And then just mix that lemon juice and sugar together until all the sugar's dissolved. And that is your drizzle. And I think our cake is ready. I'm going to take it out and just have a little look. Let's have a look. So I've got myself a little skewer here. I'm just going to go into the centre and then pull it straight out. And you can see that is nice and clean. There's no cake residue on there. And it's bouncing back. It's got some spring to it. So next thing we need to do is get that drizzle on there whilst it's still warm. So again, just taking a skewer or cocktail stick, whatever, just poke holes randomly all the way across the top of the cake. You don't need to go all the way through to the bottom, just sort of into the centre. And then taking your lemon drizzle, you just want to spoon that evenly all over the cake until it sort of absorbs into those holes. Now you need to leave that to cool down. Can't eat this straight away. Okay, it needs to be at room temperature really. So I'm just going to leave this for probably about half an hour, 45 minutes or so till it's a bit cooler, and then we can have the icing. Right, so the cake is cooled down slightly. So I'm just going to get a wire rack. I'm going to pop that on there, and then I'm just going to lift the cake out. And whilst it's cooling down, I am just going to kind of take a bit of this top piece off. You probably don't need to do this. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to add some decoration to that. I'll probably save that and munch on that in a minute. Whoops. Right, so next thing we're going to do is make up some icing. Okay, and then we're going to add the icing sugar. It seems quite a lot, but I want a nice thick, robust icing. Actually, that bowl's not big enough. I'll whack it in here. And then I'm just going to take some more lemons, or a lemon, give that a bit of a roll. And I'm going to start squeezing in some juice. You might think you're going to need a lot for this icing, but you really don't, because you want it to be like a thick paste so that it sits on top of your cake nicely. So I'm going to squeeze in, let's say the juice of about half a lemon to start with. Okay, and mix all that through. And then just start adding a little bit of water at a time, like literally like that much, and really eyeball it until you've got like a really nice, thick, glossy icing. Until it looks something like this. Nice, sort of smooth icing, about the consistency of a really thick custard. And then I'm literally going to spoon this over, spread it out nice and evenly on top. Just kind of let it cascade really. You don't need to be too neat with it on the sides. In fact, you almost want that kind of drizzled look, because it is a drizzle cake. What I am going to do is just quickly transfer this over to a plate and pop this into the fridge, just so the icing can set and firm up nicely. Also, you can just kind of decorate the cake with just the icing, you know, put over a bit of lemon zest over the top. But I've been messing around with this little thing for the past few days. You might be thinking, what is this tiny little gadget? What is it? It's called an Edibot. It was sent to me by a company called iCoffee. Basically, it's the first AI portable full colour food printer. Essentially what this gadget does is it prints full colour, like images, photos, icons, directly onto your food, like cookies, cakes, biscuits, all sorts of stuff. Even your nice frothy coffee. It has a whopping 1200 DPI resolution, so you get a nice crisp image of whatever it is you're printing on. 100,000 plus colours, and it's completely safe because it's edible ink. And there's over 500 plus templates all ready for you to use on the app. Download the app, log in, you've got a whopping choice of all the different templates, from flags, animals, food, flowers, you name it, it's on there. What I was also impressed with this as well is the amount of prints you can get out of this. 30,000 plus prints from this tiny little device. So I figured, as I'm making a lemon drizzle cake, I'm going to print some lemons on it. So I'm just going to take my little Edibot printer, pop it on our template, and then you just swipe it across. It's got a lemon on it! I'm going to move it across, I'm going to do another one. There's another lemon! And what I like about the the app as well is it's got an AI function. So you can, you know, if there's nothing available in the library already, or if you don't want to upload your own image, you can ask AI to create something for you. And I've cut myself some cake. I'm gonna have a slice, but I could decorate that as well if I flipping well want. So I'm just gonna put my little printer on there, press the button, and I've got a little penguin with a bow tie, just because I can. And if you want to put an image of an animal, flowers, icons, even American football teams on a biscuit, you can. You can even put Dominic Matteo on a potato if you want. But for someone that doesn't bake, I think this has turned out really well. So let's give it a try. It's lemony, it's moist, it's sweet, good bit of cake that. And if you'd like to pick up one of these little lady bots for yourself from iCoffee, simply follow my link in the description, head over to their Kickstarter campaign, and pick one up for yourself. But listen, I'm going to bugger off because it's like flipping 8:30 at night now, and I'm absolutely wiped out. So I'll see your gorgeous faces next time, and bye for now.